She's a sports journalist. She does amazing stuff in the WNBA, NBA, Fiba, ESPN, Undefeated. She's all over the place. Her resume speaks for itself, and I'm really excited for this interview. And I'm just honored for her to be joining this podcast. And first of all, how are you and your family doing during this tough situation?
Well, thank you for asking. We're doing well, taking it, I like to say I'm taking it one day at a time. That's, all we can really do, trying to stay safe and, stay healthy during this time. So I'm in the house a lot.
Yeah. So my first question to you is, when did you get interested in the sports industry, and who was your biggest influencer in that?
That's a great question. So I would say I've played sports my whole life. So sports has always been a part of my life. I enjoy playing tennis. I enjoy going to golf. I love basketball, as you know. So, uh, you know, right after college, ESPN offered me a job on the business side. So I took that role, and I actually did that for 3.5 years, and then decided to pivot into journalism. And I would say one of my biggest influences is Jamel Hill. I feel like she is you know, one of the women of color who I can say, is always, herself. And I feel like, she doesn't mold, she's not, she doesn't like have to, like, she can just be herself every single day. And I just feel like that's why she has such an incredible audience, and that's why she's been so successful. So I would say, I mean, I enjoy, all of her work for its genuineness.
Mm. Yeah, actually, I reached out to her to come on the podcast, but it's tough. So it's
Yeah.
she's always
She's busy.
yeah.
She has so many jobs, and she has a show, she's a writer, she has her own production company. I mean, and she's doing a bunch of other things. So, I mean, if you can get her, that'd be amazing.
Actually, my friend Dane Ortiz has her on his show coming up soon. He's
Oh,
he's
nice.
a brother of Metro P. So
Oh,
uh,
cool.
yeah, so he's I think he's having her on the show pretty soon. I don't know when, but soon. But my next question to you is, so take me back to your first opportunity where you got to cover sports. Obviously, we'll start off with the FIBA situation. So what was that like, the first opportunity when you got into FIBA? What was that like?
That actually came about during the pandemic. I actually connected with somebody who is the head of content there, before he got the job at FIBA. And, I kind of just threw out, hey, if you have any opportunities, I would love to be considered. So as opportunities came up, he had me in mind and said, hey, would you like to do some stuff for us? So in addition to the interviews that you guys see on Instagram and social media, I actually do some more in-house stuff for them. So I also moderate Zoom clinics with USA coaches, NBA coaches for them, that is actually, it actually goes to their national federations. So I'm kind of like, not everything I do is what you guys see. So I kind of do stuff on the back end too. But it's been really awesome. I have some stuff coming up with them that I'm really excited about that you'll see on social at some point soon. So they've been really great to me. They've allowed me some freedom and to be myself, and I've really enjoyed working with them.
Yeah, so what's it like just seeing the talented players in FIBA, obviously European basketball and a different style of basketball from the NBA and even WNBA. So what's it like seeing this different style of play?
I feel like it's cool. Like, at times you see a different pace of the game, but it's still the game. So, I mean, I enjoy it no matter if it's Eurobasket, if it's NBA, if it's WNBA. I'm a hoop head, so
Yeah.
I enjoy basketball, period. And I'll watch any game. And I like to joke with people. Well, not even joke. I'll go watch pickup games outside. I'll go watch summer league games that are non-NBA. I'll watch anybody who's playing, even high school. That's how much I enjoy the game.
Wow. Yeah, I'm definitely going to ask you a lot of rumors are heating up already. So we got got to ask you about that. But my next question to you is, so outside of FIBA and also ESPN Undefeated, and then you also WNBA and NBA. So what's it like just to be able to work and have these multiple jobs where you can connect with a lot of people and make these relationships and grow? What's that like being a journalist and having that experience already in multiple areas? Because I feel like ESPN and Undefeated are two of the best outlets out there right now.
Yeah, no, it's a grind. I would say, especially as a freelancer and working for all these different platforms, you're expected to work hard and show up and, do your research. And I have really enjoyed interviewing all these players and getting to know them. And I've learned that it's all about relationships. So, you might not want to ask questions the first time you see the person. You might just want to, or the athlete, you might just want to introduce yourself and say, hey, I'm Greydy Diaz. This is what I do. I look forward to seeing you throughout the season. So you kind of learn how to cultivate relationships with these players, especially as you see them, throughout their season. So like, being in the DC area, was covering the Mystics and the Wizards. So they would see me often. And, the more they see you, the more they're like, okay, she's serious and she knows her stuff. And, when I come prepared for, anything post game, I'm just, yeah. So it's a really cool and neat experience, I would say. One that isn't easy. Before I got into journalism, I didn't realize how difficult it could be.
Hmm. Yeah, so I'm sure then when you were working with the Wizards and the Mystics, I'm sure then you connected with Christy Scott, Winter Scott. If you know her, I had her on my show too. And
Yes.
what was that like when you connected with her? And she does a great job also covering these
Oh,
sports.
she's awesome. And she's always just, somebody who's super friendly in the arena, somebody who just makes you feel comfortable. And, she always has a smile on her face. So she's definitely been somebody who's, nice to be around, always a pleasure to be around for sure.
So I saw you do a lot of interviews too on your Instagram. But when you're in person in these stadiums, what's it like just to learn from these players' personalities, where they came from, and what is your goal to get out of them when they answer your questions?
So it's, just being around the players, especially during a long season, you kind of see the ups and downs and you see them at different, points, such as, you can see them outside of the arena at, some of their events that they hold for the community. And then you see them in the arena, you see them after practice and, they're people. So they're going through all these different emotions. Even after a game, not everybody's going to be happy, especially, if the outcome, didn't go their way. So, I mean, I would say that, I've always had to remember that they're people, and kind of be sensitive to that. And, you know, um, can you remind me what the second part of the question was?
Oh, I asked you. Oh, yeah. So, what is your goal when you interview these players?
Right.
What is your goal to get out of them after?
So, I mean, my goal is to get, their most honest answers. I want them to feel comfortable. And I've noticed that the more they see me around, the more comfortable they are. They know they they understand that, this is my job and I'm very serious about it. So I would say, I'm always trying to get, that honesty out of them and like what they're truly feeling. And, I've noticed that some of the best answers have come from questions about things that have nothing to do with basketball. So, for instance, asking Bradley Beal about his family or his religion or his sons, you know, he kind of switches up because like that's, number one, that's personal. And number two, those are things and people that mean a lot to him. So, you kind of see him light up a bit more. So those are like the things that I've really enjoyed, hearing from the players are, the things outside of basketball because they are multifaceted people. They are more than basketball players. They have a whole load of other interests and ventures going on. So I've really enjoyed learning about them off the court.
You know who you remind me of? Cassidy Hubbard. There you go.
Really?
Yeah, yeah.
That's funny.
You're like,
She's great.
I know she does really good stuff on ESPN when covering on the sidelines, and I actually reached
Yeah.
out to her too, but that's tough. Another tough one. But yeah, but seeing your work and all, you remind me of her a little bit. So
Oh, that's a compliment. I appreciate that.
So my next question here, take me back to your first game that you covered and the first article that you wrote and the first interview
Mm,
you've done.
That's that's kind of hard to kind of draw back to because I feel like I've done so many in such a short time. One of my first interviews, I don't know if it was my exact first, but it actually might have been, was with NBA photographer Cassie Athena,
Huh.
who I remember calling her in the article your favorite NBA, no, your favorite NBA player's favorite photographer, something like that. And, that kind of stuck. And, that was one of my favorite interviews because she was just so honest about, her journey and how she got to where she got to. And what I found to be even more cool about the situation was she and I got to meet in person maybe a year later, I don't remember, in New York City. And she said, Grady, that piece that you wrote on me for ESPN changed my life.
Hmm.
And I was just like, what? How could I change your life? And she was just like, after that article, people started calling me, like Steph Curry took me to China,
Really?
just things started to happen for her like really fast, she said. And, I don't, you don't do things
Hmm.
for that to happen, but when they do happen, you're just like, wow, you're just, it it feels really good, to kind of hear that something really positive came out, about just a publication that I did on her. So that was one of my first interviews, that written interviews.
Hmm.
One of my first on-camera interviews, man, I don't even remember, but it probably was with a WNBA player, likely during WNBA finals a few years ago. But I really can't draw on that one person who it was with because I've done so many. And even in that one night of my first night, I might have did several interviews with players, so I can't even remember. It might have been Natasha Cloud from the Washington Mystics.
Hmm. Wow. Yeah, that's amazing. So my next question here. So obviously we're in a different circumstance and with the bubble and no fans. But what was it like? So for you, what did you do during this pandemic? Were you able to cover the stuff while you were at the house and do like interviews on Zoom with these players too when the season was going on in the bubble?
Yeah, so during the season, I do a lot of focus on the Washington Mystics. So I would actually attend a lot of their press conferences after the games and stuff like that via Zoom.
Hmm.
And, during the pandemic, I've done a lot of Instagram interviews for Fiba. So I've kept, pretty busy actually. And, obviously it was unfortunate that the seasons had to be in bubbles, but they were super successful. And, people were still able to write stories. Of course, people weren't, not many people were there in person, but, a lot of journalists still got their work done.
So I mean, I gotta ask you though, how tough is it not being in the stadiums though and covering it in live and you have to cover it from the house? How tough is that though during this?
Oh, it's super hard. It's very hard because it almost feels like people are harder to reach.
Mhm.
Sometimes you have to go through multiple people to just get to one player. And it's hard. It's hard, but you kind of just have to keep trying.
Yeah. So what are your thoughts? What was your thoughts on this bubble this year with the WNBA and the NBA? Obviously, Seattle winning the championship and the Lakers, and well, I just want to get your overall thoughts on how they did both leagues. Yeah.
So WNBA, I was very impressed with how well they did. I felt like there were a lot of eyes on the WNBA this summer, which I thought was really, really special and kind of unique. And, even looking at the ratings, their ratings were up. And, at the start of the season, I remember everybody was posting their orange WNBA hoodie, like people from all different walks of life. So that was really awesome to see. And just to have that support, so early on in the season was incredible to see. And, I thought there were a lot of amazing stories to come out of, this WNBA bubble and its season. And NBA, again, another success story. They didn't have any positives, like any COVID positive tests. So, they I would say they got their mission accomplished in, in what they wanted to do and providing safety for the players and the staff and, everybody on that, small campus. So, I mean, NBA was also fun. And I thought it was really cool that, felt like there were games on every night, WNBA, NBA. There was just so much basketball. And, after both seasons ended, I was just like, oh my gosh, what are we going to do? There's going to be no basketball until who knows.
Right.
And then we hear like last week that the NBA is coming back December 22nd. So it almost feels like basketball didn't stop, even though it was off for maybe a month and a little over a month or whatever. But it's been pretty cool to see a lot of basketball happening. And I just think having the WNBA and NBA at the same time was really special this year. I just feel like maybe that contributed to, more people watching the WNBA, which I was really proud of.
Also, the virtual fans were awesome too. That was a kind of big situation. And did you get to do that and put your face on the virtual thing?
No, did you?
No.
Yeah.
I mean,
I wish.
I fully expect to have fans. This is my question. I'm just curious. Obviously the season is coming back for December 22nd for the NBA, but the WNBA, they have no updates here, right? When they're going to come back?
No, there's no updates. And usually they don't play till the summer or, next summer.
Yeah.
So we probably won't get updates till early next year, honestly, because they have time to think about what they're going to do. And we don't know where the pandemic is going to take us in 1 month, 2 months, 3 months. We have no idea. So I'm sure that's going to play a big factor in what they do for the next WNBA season.
So for yourself, are you going to mainly focus on the NBA season now, since the no WNBA season? And for you, are you going to be, obviously, you're going to be covering the free agency and draft coming up this Wednesday, but do you fully expect the teams to play in their own stadiums in December or back to the bubble?
Well, I mean, as of right now, it looks like they're all going to be playing back in their arenas, but with limited fan capacity or none. I know that the Lakers, I think it might have been last week, decided that there were going to be no fans as of right now for the season. But yeah, I mean, there's not going to be a bubble, although that kind of worries me because of, the numbers right now of the coronavirus and how it's surging. I just feel like, it makes me nervous, that teams are going to be flying and, and there's just going to be a lot of movement. So, I mean, we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, but for you, are you going to be covering NBA now and then still write stuff for the WNBA in the meantime though during their off-season goals?
Yeah, totally. I mean, because a lot of the WNBA players are playing right now overseas, or they have different ventures going on. So I feel like we always cover the NBA even in the off season. So for me, it's a goal to continue to find ways to cover the WNBA. So for instance, Natasha Cloud, who plays for the Washington Mystics, I was just reading today that she terminated her contract with her Italian team that she was most recently playing for. So that's news, you know what I mean? So I feel like there's always news going on in terms of the W. So, we just have to kind of find ways to cover it, and hopefully more platforms continue to open up those avenues to do so.
Yeah. So before we get to the heated up rumors in the NBA, I want to ask you an important topic with women in sports, and I've been discussing this with other women I had on the show. I'm really inspired what I'm seeing for you guys, getting more opportunities covering these sports, and even females coaching male sports like Becky Hammon from the Spurs. And actually today we made history in baseball too, the first female for the Marlins. So kudos to them for doing that. And what's it like just seeing all these women getting opportunities now and breaking barriers? And like, for example, Camille Harris, first female vice president now. So what's that like, just seeing all that?
It's inspiring, but it's also, been a long time coming. Like, a lot of these things shouldn't be happening for the first time. I think it's wild that it's 2020 and, we're still seeing so many firsts. But, I'm very happy that it's happening, and, it's something that makes me super proud. And I feel like women bring a lot to the table. They are just as talented as men, and can perform a lot of these jobs just as men do. So, I love to see it.
Yeah, like for you, how grateful are you to be able to be in this position yourself and getting obviously being versatile and for you, just how grateful are you to be in that position, just to have multiple.
Yeah, I'm super grateful and I don't take it for granted. And I know that it's a very competitive industry. And I do realize that it's male dominated. When I go into locker rooms, especially like NBA locker rooms, it's mostly men, so I'm usually one of only a few women. So I realize that, there's still a lot of work to be done.
Yeah.
And I'm grateful to be in the position that I'm in to continue climbing.
Yeah, I'm really inspired by what I'm seeing, and I'm happy for all you guys, and really happy for I have the Marlins gained my respect even more, but after they hired the first female GM, I love that. I really love that, and she's gonna bring a lot to the table for that team. But now let's
Absolutely.
get to this. I'm really this is my favorite time of the year: NBA free agency and draft. Actually, I got to say thank you for I saw you tuned in my interview today with the NBA
Hmm.
draft prospect. So he's gonna
Yeah,
be
you're welcome.
yeah. So he's gonna be in this year's draft, and but I want to get first before the draft. I want to get your reaction to the Chris Paul trade and the Dennis Schroeder trade.
I mean, I thought I didn't really see them coming, but I thought they were interesting trades. Yeah, I mean, what did you think?
Um, the Chris Paul one was surprising because I didn't expect the. I really thought. I mean, the Suns they competed in the bubble.
Yeah.
I don't know. They can still make Monty Williams. By the way, he had Chris Paul in New Orleans, so maybe that's a factor.
Hmm.
So I
For
got
sure.
Chris Paul will have an easy transition. He will help Devin Booker out a lot,
Exactly.
and that
Yeah.
backcourt got much better. I really like what they did. So I do like the trade, but I was surprised at first. But if you think about it, I think it's a great fit for Chris Paul. But he needs to win a ring. That's the thing. I don't think Phoenix is ready to win the ring.
Yeah,
That's a
I
one.
agree.
Yeah.
I also don't know how I don't see a ring in the near future for Phoenix, but I think, it was a huge win for Devin Booker. I think he'll learn a lot from, Chris Paul, who's an ultimate vet.
Yeah, but I mean, now to the Dennis Schroeder thing, I really like that trade for the Lakers, and they know already that Rondo is going to leave, and I predicted Rondo to go to the Clippers.
Mm.
Yeah, Clippers need that one. I think they're missing a IQ player, and I think Rondo can fit that bill. But do you think that's a great trade for the Lakers?
I think it is. I think it is. I like him as a player, and he's going to a talented Lakers team who has the potential to win another championship. So, I mean, I think for him, it's a big win.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think for anybody to go to the Lakers right now, it's a huge win regardless.
Yeah, so I want to get to Brooklyn Nets. There's a lot of rumors going around with that
Ooh,
team. James Harden potentially,
right.
and also Serge Ibaka. I heard that today that they have strong mutual interest in Ibaka. I think they're trying to
Saw
build
that.
the OKC of. They're trying to get everybody back from OKC, and except for Westbrook, it would be Kyrie there. But what do you think of Brooklyn Nets? I'm pretty sure. Obviously, they're going to go all in this all season.
I mean, I think if the right pieces land in Brooklyn, I think that they could absolutely be a contender. Um, especially if everybody can stay healthy. I think that's been an issue. But I really like the Brooklyn Nets. I feel like they have like this different sort of swag to them. They're not the Knicks, they're the Brooklyn Nets. And I just feel like if they just have the right pieces, I think that they could really go far. So, I mean, adding a James Harden, that's interesting.
That's
I I feel like that's a
that's
lot of people who I feel like that's a lot of people who want the ball, number one.
yeah. I don't know.
But I mean, who knows how that could work? You know, I could be wrong. I could work really well. So, I mean, if they can get a few more pieces, like who knows where they can go.
I
They're
I just
go
like
ahead.
I'm a New York Knicks fan, and we're going through struggles right now. But seeing the way Sean Marks is building the Nets, he's doing it the right way. he's making gamble moves. I think it will work out. Like for example, Steve Nash, I like him as a I don't know, like obviously first time coach, but I think he'll bring a lot to that team. And I like Mike D'Antoni and Mari Stoudemire, even Royal Ivy. They're building a good staff and taking flashy moves. And I'm
Mhm.
just for you. What is it likely? Obviously, Harden wants to go to the Nets and Sixers. I think those are the two teams he said, but because of Daryl Morey in Sixers now. But what's the likelihood you see a Harden trade happening at all?
I mean, he has clearly showed interest in leaving the team, which I think is step number one. You know, I feel like it matters if a player is happy or not. I mean, when somebody requests a trade, I feel like that's a really big deal, and I feel like you might be kind of crazy to not try to figure something out. But um, I mean, I don't know where he's gonna land. I literally have no idea. And it's almost hard to see him not in a Houston Rockets uniform. That will be just interesting to see. But I don't know. I mean, it's one of those things where like, who knows, tomorrow we could wake up and there could be a trade. I don't know.
Hmm. Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see. And what else are you most looking forward to this NBA free agency and these other rumors heating up?
I'm trying to see what the Celtics are, if they're gonna make any moves. I feel like the Celtics are due for a move or two.
Yeah.
I just feel like there's so much potential in the younger guys like Jason Tatum, Jalen Brown, and I just feel like something's not clicking, something's not working. So I really hope that Danny Ainge can figure out what needs to be moved, whether it's Gordon Hayward. I like Kemba, but and it would be kind of hard for me to see him go, but I don't know. We need some help. And, if they want to win banner number 18, because right now they're tied with the Lakers with 17 and 17, they're gonna need to make some moves and it's gonna hurt, but it's time.
Yeah, so now moving to the draft, obviously the WNBA had a success with the virtual draft. So what do you think what do you think the NBA will how do you think the NBA will do it Wednesday? Do you think they're gonna have the same success like the WNBA or
Oh, for sure. It's the NBA we're talking about. I feel like the NBA knows how to do
yeah?
everything. I feel like they're always everything that they do is fully thought out. And oh yeah, I mean, I think I saw on Instagram that somebody was already one of the one of the top players was already delivered an NBA big box with 6 hats of potential teams that might draft him.
Hmm.
So like, oh yeah, they're fully prepared, fully.
So obviously a lot of trade. I might see some trades in the draft. So obviously the Timberwolves with the number one pick, and
Mm,
so do you see them trading their pick or making the pick, or what do you think?
that's a good question.
Hmm.
I don't know. I don't know. I honestly don't know if I can see them trading, but I kind of could. Like I feel like nowadays, I feel like the number one pick is special, but I don't feel like it's as special as it used to be. In terms of like players keeping their picks. But um, I'm just excited for the draft in general. I mean, it's draft was supposed to be what in June, and here we are in November. So I mean, a lot of these players are probably antsy and are ready for their names to be called.
Yeah, the guy who I interviewed today, he said I'm ready. He's ready for the draft, and I don't know. I told him he's not getting talked about. I told him he's talented. He's up there with LaMelo Ball. I told him that, and he said he doesn't worry about the news and the critics. He wants to be in the he wants to get drafted, be on the right team, and work hard. That's what he said. So
Absolutely, that's
yeah,
what it's all about. I mean, at the end of the day, you don't. It's very rare for a player to be drafted by a team and stick with that team their entire career. Like that's so rare. So I mean, especially at this point with so much unknown, especially with this pandemic and everything, I just feel like you're going to see a lot of players just grateful to be chosen and just I mean, as they usually are every year, but I feel like this year has just been a lot on everyone. So, yeah.
So I do this fun little segment with all my guests that come on the show. It's called the rapid fire segment. So you ready for this?
Sure.
All right. Kawhi Leonard's laugh or Kevin Hart's laugh?
Kawhi Leonard.
What's your most memorable interview you've done? I think you already mentioned that, but outside of that other interview, what was your other most memorable interview and most memorable sporting event you covered?
Ooh. Last year's WNBA finals, watching the Mystics win the championship was probably my most memorable experience in sports. And then my favorite interview, probably Bradley Beal.
Yeah. So speaking of the Wizards, actually, I had their assistant coach on my show last week. His name is Alex McLean.
Yeah.
So I had him on the show. He said that John Wall's ready to go, and so when he's healthy, obviously one of the best point guards in the league, and I'm hoping he stays healthy. And what do you expect from the Wizards this year with Bradley? Do you expect them to keep the backcourt again, just to experiment one more time?
That's a great question for a struggling Wizards. I mean, I don't know. That's a great question. Not sure.
So all right. So my next one here. What did you learn from the Bradley Beal interview?
I've done a few.
Oh yeah. The first time you interviewed him, what did you learn?
Ooh. I don't remember the first time I interviewed him, but one of the things I've learned from him is that he reads his Bible or reads some pages from his Bible every single morning. It's like the first thing he does when he wakes up, which I thought was interesting.
So are you currently working on some big things for your show on Instagram Live?
No, it's not for Instagram Live, but I am working on some stuff.
So my next one is favorite food.
Ooh, Dominican food.
Yeah. That's I'm Indian, so we're Indian food here too. So Indian, and
Okay.
I love Jamaican food also. But what's your favorite Dominican food?
Ooh. Oh my gosh. I love sweet plantains. That's probably my favorite.
So I'm gonna put you on the spot here. So I had Dow Armstrong on my show last week too, the Mavericks assistant coach. And so I had a Lakers, I had an NBA champ this year from the Lakers tune in to the interview. So I'm gonna give you 4 guesses. If you don't get it, I'll tell you.
He played on this Lakers team.
Yeah, he played on this Lakers team. He won a championship this year. I'll give you 4 guesses. He tuned in into the Darryl Armstrong interview.
Caldwell Pope.
Mm-mm.
LeBron James.
Oh, I wish. But no.
You never know. Let's see. Dwight Howard.
No. I'll give you 2 more guesses and then I'll tell you.
How about Rondo?
No.
Anthony Davis?
No. Quinn Cook.
Ooh. Oh, that's a great one.
Yeah, because he used to play for the Mavericks, so.
Yeah, dope.
Yeah, so yeah, that was I didn't expect that, and when his name popped up, I said, "What? NBA champ in the building?"
Hey, that's amazing.
Yeah. So
you never know who might tune in.
Oh, I know. Like for example, Thomas Bryant tuned into my Alex McLean interview too. So
that makes sense. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So my next question to you is, outside of covering these sports, what else do you like to do?
Ooh, I love to travel. Mm-hmm. I like to spend time with my friends in New York City. I like to golf. I like to play tennis with my sister. I like to be active, and I love the beach.
What's your favorite go-to snack while you're on the road?
Ooh, I love acai bowls.
Oh, favorite
They're
music?
Good. Favorite music?
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, R&B.
All right, I'm gonna put you on the spot again. Who's the top all-time WNBA player right now?
Oh, that's hard. Right now?
Yeah.
Mm, that's a hard question because there's so many greats right now that are in the game and they're all different ages. Like some are almost ready to retire and some are like 26 years old. So somebody who I think is a great already and she's only 26 is probably Brianna Stewart.
All right. Yeah, I agree. I think for me it's either her or it's Sue Bird.
Mm. Oh yeah, for sure.
So whoever doesn't know about Greydy Diaz, who are you?
Let's see. I'm a lot of things. I'm a sister, I'm a friend, I'm a journalist. And yeah, I'm just somebody who has a big heart. I
Mhm.
feel like I wear my heart on my sleeve.
Hmm. Do you see Becky Hammond getting a chance in the NBA as a head coach? I really,
I hope so.
yeah. Hmm.
I hope so. I'd love to see it. Like she's incredible and she's been around for a long time. She knows a lot about the game. Like, why not?
Yeah. So what's your, all right, let me ask you this. Outside of like covering with all these accolades you have, what advice have you gotten from different other sports journalists or throughout your career?
Um, I would say I've gotten quite a bit of advice is to always stay true to myself. Focus on reps, getting as many reps as I can in, and just never quitting, because I feel like being a journalist isn't
Yeah,
easy. And I just feel like it's important to always remember, the goal ahead and that, there's going to be ups and downs, there's going to be growing pains. But at the same time, the journey's better than the destination.
yeah. Like for me, I'm always hustling, reaching out to people. I'm over, like, people, my friends are crazy. My friends think I'm crazy because I'm at 605 episodes already. I'm and grinding out here. I've done 7 episodes in one day a couple times before. So
That's crazy.
yeah,
That's a lot, but that's amazing, and I could tell, especially because you know what you're doing. You're very comfortable, so it's very natural for you. So, kudos to you. That's amazing.
yeah. Thank you. What advice would you give these young kids or young athletes that are trying to get to their goals?
Ooh, I would say again, just stay the course. There are going to be times where you're just like, "Am I doing enough? Is this what I'm supposed to be doing?" But if you're truly passionate about it, continue to believe in yourself and always bet on yourself.
Mhm.
I've bet on myself a lot throughout my career, and I would say I've grown a lot from those moments of being uncomfortable and not thinking I'm ready to do this or that. Those are the moments where you really learn about yourself and you learn that, hey, I can do this.
Hmm. So the last two things here before I let you go, this is a question I've been bringing up to all my guests, obviously about the late Kobe Bryant, his daughter Gianna, Mama mentality, and then the rest of the people that were involved in the horrible crash. And he was one of my role models growing up. So for you, do you remember where you were at that day, and what did they both mean to you?
Yeah, of course. I think a lot of us will always remember where we were when he passed, his daughter passed, and everybody, on that helicopter passed. Um, he meant a lot to the game. So, anybody who means a lot to the game kind of means a lot to you, especially when you enjoyed the game so much. So, I would say, it was a huge loss to the basketball community and to all the communities he was a part of. He was, again, more than basketball, and he was an Emmy winner. He was an author. He had his own production company. Like he had so many things that he was involved in, and he was clearly, loved by so many. So I would say that, I think it's been amazing to see everyone honor him in different ways and, just may they rest in peace.
Yeah, the reason why I asked this question all the time at the end, towards the end of the show, just to get people's perspective. And also, I had players on my show that played with Kobe or played against
Mm,
Kobe, so I want to get a different perspective with reporters or anybody, like so I can gather it and put it together in one. Because I think it's a good thing for me. I'm trying to honor that both of them in that way by asking the same question towards the end of each show. And this Friday, actually, I'm having Wes Johnson, a NBA player. He played with Kobe, so I'm gonna get more insight from that. So that's my goal out of this, just to put everything together in one perspective. So
that's amazing. And I feel like, a lot of the people that played with him, because I've also interviewed players that have played with him, they have some of the best stories, about their interactions with him, about how he was as a leader. So those are some of the coolest stories to hear of how he impacted his teammates.
and the last thing here, would you like to say anything to all the nurses, doctors, and essential workers?
Absolutely. You are appreciated, and you're literally going to work every day and putting your lives at risk, and to help others. And I think that is such a courageous thing and such a beautiful thing. And we 1000% appreciate you.
Yeah, they're the real MVPs, and they deserve a pay raise for sure.
Seriously.
Yeah, but there it is, episode 605 with Greydy Diaz. She's a talented sports journalist that covers FIBA, WNBA, NBA, ESPN, Undefeated, you name it. She's all over the place, covering 24/7. Go follow on go follow on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn. And man, thank you again for coming on this podcast. And I'll be posting this on all social media formats so people see your story. And we should do a collab show one day. And obviously, we're going to stay connected and give each other advice or feedback. And you and your family stay safe.
Thank you so much. You too. Thank you for having me, and we'll talk soon.
Yeah, anytime.
Okay.